What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling like Nvidia today. Hope you guys are feeling good, ready to go. We got SPY all-time high. So all it took was Nvidia. If it's gonna be anything, it's gotta be Nvidia. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Alexander, good morning to you. Bill, Brian, Carlos, Jason's in the house. Good morning to Jay, Jeff, Joe, JT, Kevin. Good morning to Lauren. Matthew's in the house. Good morning, Nate. We got Rick with us. Good morning, Shane, Tim, Win. The squadron is piling in. Good morning to everybody out there on YouTube land. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. We got David Cooks in the house. Good morning to you. We got Richard. Good morning, Clarice. Santilla, good morning. Oh, we got E Queen in the house. E-Queen is already coming in with some questions. I love it. Is today a great day to buy SPY puts? Interesting concept. Interesting concept. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. And then I'll tell you what I'll do. How about that? We had a pretty significant, for whatever reason, not I mean, again, we're in uncharted territory, but somewhere right around this zone here, we had a major resistance. Right, we got up there once, failed. Didn't do it that day. Twice, three, four times, just could not get past that. Yeah, 530, 150 ish, somewhere in that zone. Straight brick wall. It puts it all onto, okay, well, we still got Nvidia reporting earnings. Who knows what's going to happen? They got a high bar to beat. They got everything kind of stacked against them. What are they going to do? Yes, they're high. They come in crazy beat. Market is now above that resistance. I think that is going to be probably, to this point, some type of support, and then you probably get that bounce higher. So again, we have job report came out. I mean, nobody cares about the job report anymore because you got Nvidia, but jobs came in light today too. So again, that's good for the potential case of, you have two stories, right? You got AI story, and then you got the Fed. And that's the only real two stories, besides maybe China doing some drills right outside Taiwan, just to, well, I think they were calling them punishment drills. I'm not even sure what that means, but so there's like still some like macro news. There's still obviously wars all over the place. There's the craziness in the world, but the two driving stories, at least for now, are still the Fed and the AI. Nvidia has proved yesterday that it's still the story. And then with numbers like the jobless numbers that we have today coming in light, the interest rates probably still looking to come down. And those are the two driving factors of the market right now. That being said, I don't see a reason to go buy puts yet for me, right? As just looking at the overall, what is the narrative of the market? What is the story? I don't think there's any real reason for me to be bearish. Maybe when the interest rates already kind of come down, and then we're like, okay, well, now that story's happened, and maybe AI is overvalued at some point, but there's not a reason to, right? But if you think about why puts exist, why calls exist, why options exist, they're essentially an insurance. So, can you buy some puts today and they'll be relatively cheap? Yeah, probably. If you have a long-term portfolio, you have something like, a base decently all bullish type portfolio, and you want to get some insurance, well, the rate for those insurance contracts are probably pretty cheap. But keep in mind, I would be buying them with an expectation of losing my money on those puts. But in worst case, China does invade tomorrow. Or worst case, something comes out in AI world, or the Fed comes out and they're like, yeah, you know what, we might actually raise something that we don't know, maybe a black swan. At least you have the insurance to kind of cover your puts, right? So, or cover your portfolio, so you will make some money to the downside. But at this point, I'm only viewing, like, I'm only buying if I'm buying. I'm not buying puts today, but if I'm buying puts, for me, it's just, can it be in an insurance policy for my overall portfolio, just in case. because if that portfolio continues to go higher, you'll make more money in the longer term portfolio than you will uh, than what you would have probably lost on those puts. So at this point, I'm not bearish on the market yet. Could we get some kind of a pullback? Potentially. I mean, from yesterday, it's a gap and go. This is still an inside day candle. The inside day, the candle that we're inside of is bullish. So maybe a little pullback, but I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I'm looking for this probably this 531.50-ish to be some kind of support, and then we look to continue to get bounce. So I don't see a story as to why we should be bearish, but I think it's a good concept. And if you are using options as a true nature, yeah, you typically want to buy it when everybody else is like, man, everything is so bullish and nobody's even thinking about puts, right? So you could kind of go off that a little bit, but I don't. there's no story of like we're collapsing. Let's get to the exits as soon as possible. Not yet. And we said that yesterday too. Even like AI world, right? Let's say Nvidia came in with bad earnings. The overall market environment, well, I think we would have obviously gapped down today. We'd have a different story, different conversation, but I don't see the overall market collapsing yet, right? So I don't see us going, okay, Nvidia missed on earnings and therefore, everybody's just terrified of the market and pulling their money out and throwing into something safe, treasuries. They're throwing money into high yield savings accounts. I don't see that yet, right? What I do see is anytime we get these anytime we get these moves, we're just seeing money be moved from one sector into another. So that's not overall fear. That's just bullish on different sectors, taking different profits. So I don't think the market has really much element of bearishness, but more rotation. Once we get like fear, panic, everybody wants to pull out of the market. That's when you get that big drop, and I don't see it yet. So we'll see. Maybe closer to September if we do start lowering rates and one of the narratives is now off the table. That could be a chance, but we will see. All right, Q's gap up. Obviously, you're gonna go move with the Nvidia. So tech gonna be really strong. Obviously, SPY's gapping up too. Yesterday is a red candle, so technically, just on a candle basis, is a gap and go. Although yesterday was a little bit more of a retest gap, so I think there should be probably some people wanting to take profits. I would think at open, but I don't think much profits. I don't know if we have a full on retest today. I think that is a gap that will get filled at some point though. So if you're waiting to get into something, there's probably an opportunity at some point. TLT. Okay, we were looking at this one yesterday. We said we had to hold on to the 91.13 zone, so that was good. We did have a bond auction yesterday. Came in a little bit lower, so that is bullish for the market. So bonds did like that one, slightly lower than expected. Next support we got to hold on for this one is 91.65, but they did show some strength yesterday. And now we're looking for about probably 92.06 is the next resistance on TLT. All right, let's get to the big dog. Let's get to the big dog. Yep. And I see we got some AMD, some sympathy plays for Nvidia too. That could be good. But and then there are some other earnings out there as well. So we'll cover those ones as well. Otherwise, we finally did it. We finally got to the $1,000 mark and then exceeded it. There seems to be a little bit of a wall somewhere around 1020. We've been there a few times pre-market and getting rejected. So watch for that 1020 level. That's the only level I really got at these heights for now. And that came in from essentially back here. We got up there a few other times. So if we start breaking out at 1020, you probably have some more upside. It is a massive gap on a daily basis. Yesterday's candle was non-existent at these levels. I got to scroll down. Hold on. Was a nice big red candle inside day. Inside day of this green candle. Yeah, you could probably have some people taking profits. I would assume. Again, I don't think much. The earnings were, I mean, they beat in every category. They also raised guidance, which I don't think anyone's talking about, but they did raise guidance going forward too. So they're saying, hey, we beat the high bar. Let's do it again. And then they're coming out with a 10-to-1 stock split, and they're doing it quick. So June 7th is the first day that we'll see these numbers kind of getting adjusted. And if you are holding some Nvidia shares, you will be multiplying the stock basket by 10. So tenfold on that. And we'll probably see this thing trading at, well, who knows where we'll be at by June 7th. But for right now, just slightly over $100 a share for Nvidia, which is fantastic. More volume, more craziness, and yeah, keep it going. But right now, really good gap. Everything. So I saw AMD kind of getting mentions. AMD is moving with a beautiful looking gap. This is the zone I was worried about. We'll see what this one wants to open, but we had targets up to like 170.40 for some resistance so far. It's a gap and go. But yesterday was also a retest gap. I like where we're clearing here. I think we got some room, probably now up to about 176.38. If not to like 177.52. So we have a lot of room. Might be a good sympathy play. It's not at all-time highs. If Nvidia starts selling off or retesting, I'm worried that some of these sympathies might do it as well. But if AMD does, we might see down to like 167.55 today. I really want to hold in this zone, though. I don't want it to come down past 170.54. But we do have a lot of room to the bullish side on this one, so definitely worth the look. Obviously, we got that beautiful inverted head and shoulders on a daily, and this AI story is strong. So we will see. We also had who did the conference yesterday? Uh, Might have been I don't know if it was yesterday. It might have been the day before, but I think it was the Microsoft conference. They did mention lots of people. No, 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 not earnings, not earnings conference. There was the what was it? I think the Microsoft Builds conference, and they obviously they're like we use Nvidia. They also shouted out Snowflake, but then they also mentioned AMD too. So like yeah, we're proud to work with AMD. So it's not like a forgotten company. So for a bullish run, you're not at all-time highs. That was a really good pullback, inverted head and shoulders. So on a daily basis, AMD still looks good. And then it's a matter of when, why, and how. But yeah, next stop into the 177 zone, then to like the 180s should be a little bit of resistance, I think, a little bit stronger. But definitely want to watch. SMCI was moving too, so SMCI also has a pretty interesting looking gap. Not a head and shoulders, but you are making higher lows. This one has a little bit still of resistance on it. Keep in mind they have been diluting, which AMD has not, Nvidia has not, SMCI has been. But look for resistance on this one, somewhere around 941.39. I kind of like the AMD a little bit better. I saw somebody mention MU. MU. Is that a gap into all-time highs as well? It is. I got to get this one higher on the list. Although I feel like MU's been tricky. I don't know why. But uh any of these companies like that high wave, beautiful high wave candle out of the gate, please give me some of those. Give me some of those. Don't just like open up and run and like, don't do that. Just but think about it for a little bit, market, and then let me set up. Otherwise, yep, that all looks good. We got Meta. I don't have targets on MU because we're at all-time highs, but uh I would with that gap, I would definitely be looking higher. Meta, still a little bit choppy. That was a scary candle we had 2 days ago. Yesterday's candle pretty decent. We retested that last VPOC. Obviously, the trend is or has been bullish. We've had a nice little pullback. We haven't really closed the gap. Targets for me would be about 490.94. But to get there, we still have to break out of 480.69. So I don't know what's gonna happen on Nvidia. I mean, it could be a day where we just open the bell rings and it just runs like crazy. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's probably going to be a little sideways chop, some profit taking before we kind of make that next push on Nvidia. But I would think that we are above all the moving averages. That is a decent candle. That was a good retrace. We are above key support. I want to stay above 470. Uh, but decent, decent. I feel like they almost need another story on them. They have news. Why is Ticketmaster owner Live Nation shares tumbling? Yada yada yada. But we'll see on this one. Still a little bit choppy. But if it gives me an intraday setup, I would like to be more bullish on it. So I'm bullish leaning. I just don't see if I have too much edge at open. Would probably like to see maybe a pullback into like 272. If I see a pullback into 272, we might be able to take that one out. DELL. Another all-time high. Okay. Yep, looks similar to MU. MU has a double top that we're breaking out of though. So that's the only real difference on this one. Is MU had like a brick wall. We failed twice in a longer term time period. This one we've gotten up there. It's obviously been bullish. Probably remains bullish. Where's the volume candle? So that's all bullish. You got some bulls in there. Probably still profitable on this gap. See if this one wants to pull back slightly again. I'm not expecting too big of a pullback. We'll see what happens. But then look for support. Real support on this one now should be this 148.26. So we are a little bit deeper. That's not a bad spot to try. We're taking that one out, which is pretty good too. That was the second highest volume candle. So yep. I want to remain bullish on everything and just got to worry about people taking some gains out of the gate. We got Snowflake. Snowflake was another one. Nice little beat on Snowflake. The problem I got with Snowflake is they've been down, man. Like if I was in Snowflake, I'd be a little frustrated to be honest. Like you got because this is and again, Microsoft mentioned them. They are AI related. I would have thought that hey, if Nvidia is running the way it is, AMD is running, SMCI, all those companies, MU. I'll even throw in Dell, even though I don't think Dell's quite the same. But if all those companies are running AI and then my AI play is not, I think any gap, you're just like, okay, let me get out, find something stronger at this point. That being said, you got good support, somewhere around 145. You have the 200 slightly above you. So watch that on the daily, 171.56. I think I would like to see a little pullback on this one. Maybe even back down to like 164.88 for a better shot. I just don't see the same momentum in this one. And I mean, the way that this thing kind of just fell out of the sky, yeah, not great. A little bit of inverted head and shoulders, so definitely one to watch, I think, on that pullback. So getting that pullback, I think I'd like Snow a little bit more, but they did beat earnings. They did crush earnings actually. So I'm not mad at the actual earnings report, but I think sentiment on the stock is a little bit weaker than most other AI type plays, at least for now. Coinbase, Ethereum, I know is ripping. I don't know if Bitcoin is ripping. BTC, USD. I think it was up though. Yeah, it's up slightly. You have some of the other names kind of just dancing around, but Ethereum Classic, they're all moving. The story on that one's still the ETF. So it's a little bit more to the choppy side. You are opening at a resistance. We had targets on this one, somewhere up to, I think we had it higher. But yeah, targets were 234.96. We did hit that yesterday. And then if we could get above that again, we're probably looking for like 244.69, 244.70, with room all the way up to like 256. So it's got some potential on it. But this one did hit the first little target. We did close right back below that resistance. So I would see if this one wants to fade first. Come on back to like 230.36, and you get a better shot to try. I wouldn't Wouldn't get the FOMO for waiting on this one, I think. Uh, NVDL. NVDL. That's a nice little gap. Yep. This is the ETF around Nvidia. So if you're like, hey, Nvidia's too much, but I want to play it, you could look at something like this. I personally would like to just play Nvidia for me personally, but this one should mimic and be very similar to how Nvidia moves. And you are almost at all-time highs. We got this little wick on this one here, so it's actually a little bit trailing Nvidia. But yep, that one's gonna be if you like Nvidia bullish, you probably like that one bullish as well. Shopify, we had an order for Shopify yesterday. The trade that I wrote down in my Excel spreadsheet would have worked great, but then I typoed and we pretty much got out break even-ish almost. But today's a new day. Today's a new day. We got yesterday's VPOC. We got to get past. This is a gap and go as well, just inside day from yesterday. So I'm losing a little bit of edge from just like gap and go, but watch for like 59, probably a little higher than this, 59.30. You can start getting above there. Again, targets I have is $62. I do kind of like the consolidation on this one. You're gonna need to close. We didn't even close above that last resistance. So the good news for the bulls is we're opening above it, and we got resistance right now face. See if we get some chop. Maybe a high wave on this one too. Actually, let's get this one up on the list. I wouldn't mind trying it again. We just have to break out of that sideways chop. Again, I don't think we're running back to 80 like really quickly, but I do think first stop is probably about 62.22, and then therefore it's got some decent upside to it. LYV being sued by the DOJ for antitrust. Poor Live Nation. Poor Live Nation. Yeah, I mean, the Biden administration, their whole goal is to take away junk fees and everything. Like it's not a good industry to be in right now. It's like you guys can't charge these fees. They're like, but we want to. That's how we make money. Nah, uh-uh. The American people do not like junk fees, and I'm like, true. That is kind of in a weird way true. I don't like junk fees. I'm not completely against it. But at the same time, they could just take all the junk fees and throw it into the actual price, and it's just like I'll still pay the same thing if I want to go to the concert. But you got Live Nation. That's a pretty severe bearish gap and go. Definitely some room on this one further to the downside. You're probably trapping some of those bulls, I would assume. Um, Targets of this one about 92.40. You do have this high volume candle. You're kind of sitting right at the close of this. You're at a little tiny bit of support at open. Nothing too crazy, but trapping all those bulls. When the rest of the market is going bullish and you're sitting there looking at your Live Nation account going, man, I just cannot pick the right stock. That's crazy. But yeah, no, that probably has a little bit more room to the downside. You also have the 200 all the way down to 91.62. So I don't see this being like a crazy collapse. Longer term pictures that it's a little wide to be some kind of inverted head and shoulders. Yeah. I mean, Live Nation's big. Uh-huh. All right, let's see. What else am I missing? We got Dell UNG. Yep, that's a good one. UNG. Uh, Decent little gap up. You got that 200 coming in. So watch for like 22.19. You also have some decent resistance there. You also have this green candle yesterday. So I don't know if I'd want to short it or go long and open and probably do nothing. But if this one comes up to like 22.30, it's probably a good spot to play the short. So if you get a quick pop early morning, otherwise, it's not enough room for me to go short on. But if you like it in the long direction, you're probably trying to wait for about $20.50, 56 cents. Wait for some kind of pullback on that one. Let's see. BJ's before the open. Thoughts on support and resistance? Uh, you got to give me the ticker on that one. I thought it was just BJ's. Volume on that one is low typically. BJ's Wholesale Club was just BJ. No S on that one. But yeah, typically volume's a little bit to the lighter side. Looks like they did have earnings this morning, I guess. They beat by 2.57%. They also beat by 63 million to the upside. So not bad earnings, but this is a run up into that earnings as well. So their bar is a little bit higher, and they just don't have enough AI. They haven't figured out how to wholesale AI yet. So I think more focus probably going to be to the tech side. If you're a long term investor, you're pretty much you're at all time highs. So I'd have to be waiting for a much bigger dip. Get me a good sale on this one first. Get me that wholesale club deal, and we'll go from there. So we will see. Let's see what else we got. We got any other tickers I missed? Let me know if I missed any. WSM. William. Oh yeah, that candle. I don't know. I don't know. That looked great at the open. If I'm in this one, I'm not even using paint anymore. Like that's how gross that candle is. So yeah, I don't know what that was. I'm assuming an overreaction. The good news, if you are a bull, you're gonna hang into this location 279.41. Yeah, that 11% short float. Like, no, this is still a paint company. We're doubling down. Um, yeah, I don't know. That was like, yeah, retest gap. I'm looking for like a retest maybe into 316.40, go a little bit lower, freak some people out. You got 312.86, but you bearish engulfed everything. They overachieved on this one. And now you got a big blow off top. So the one thing I could say with this one, obviously, the company's actually pretty strong, but on this one, if you're coming back down to the pivot, you got room to like 186. You had a nice little move ahead of it, and you're pretty far extended from the moving averages. So maybe just that far extension kind of got the best of it. And like like I said, that 11% short float probably increased on that day, I guess. I don't know. But that is the morning bell. So everybody out in YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. And keep in mind, we do this every day before the market opens, 30 minutes before the bell.